Probably the Monday before opening Sunday, Skip. I know the season starts on a Thursday night, but Zeke will be there Monday before the Sunday night game. I think it's Sunday night game, or Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, 4:25 on Fox, 4:25 Eastern.
Against the Giants, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I believe that's when Zeke will show up. Skip, and I understand the only leverage that a player has is holding out. That's the only leverage that he has. And Zeke, no running back, has had more carries, put his body through more than one Ezekiel Elliott. And he understands. And this is really not a Cowboy issue. This is not a Zeke issue. This is a CBA issue. Because they have him for this year, it'll be his 4th year. Then they can pick up the 5th-year option, and then they can franchise him for 2 years. So theoretically, Skip, they can keep Zeke at their number for the next 3 years. And Zeke understands. I'm the bell cow. I'm a bell cow back. Skip, he's been everything you thought he would be running the football. But now he's shown the ability with 77 catches that he can catch the ball. You don't have to take him off the field. You know, Todd Gurley is an every down back. Le'Veon Bell was an every down back. Zeke says, you know what? I can be that. And he taught himself, and I don't know whether he taught himself or maybe they gave him more opportunities, but he caught the ball for 77 passes last year. For me, Skip, and I get Zeke, and I see both sides. Remember, I said 2 things can be true. Zeke deserves a contract extension. He deserves to be compensated because he's overperformed the contract. But the Cowboys say, Zeke, I don't trust you. Zeke, every year you've been here, the commissioner need to talk to you about something. I get it. Zeke wants the extra 3-4 years, Skip. That's no problem because they can, give Zeke $30 million to sign and even take his cap number lower because his cap number is $8 million this year. They can take it even lower. Skip, given his history of his off-the-field behavior, if you're Jerry Jones, you're Stephen Jones, how do you trust that? No, even though he's so productive, and that's why he's still on the team, it's because he's so productive. Less a productive guy with these kind of problems, you got to go, bro. Led the league in rushing twice. He would have led it a 3rd time had he not been suspended. And, Skip, he's been unbelievable. And you always talk about, it's the quarterback. I found something there because me and my guy Steve, I don't know what you and your guy be doing, but me and my guy Steve, we stay up late at night.
Your puppet master.
Don't do that, Skip. No. Don't do that. Don't try to undermine me. See, I see what you try to do. You try to be the
He's your Sean McVay.
You try to be the divisive. You try to drive a wedge between us, but it's not going to happen.
Speaking through your earpiece right now. Say this. Say that.
Did you notice? You keep talking about Amari Cooper, but did you know over the last 8 games, Amari Rod, 8 games in Tennessee, that Zeke averaged 102 yards running the football?
For him, that's not that great, actually.
Well, let me ask you a question. 102 yards, if you average 102 yards over the course of 16 games, 1,600 is not very good. I think it's great, but that's not. And 52, and they have 52 catches. 102 yards rushing, 151 total yards from scrimmage with 52 catches.
You kept telling me a couple of years ago, he can't catch.
He couldn't.
Okay.
That was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he can.
Well, he wasn't. You keep telling me what he could do.
When is it my turn? I'm getting bored.
It's about to be your turn. Skip, I believe he shows up the Monday before the opening Sunday of the regular season.
And you know what? That would be just fine with me. Because how many carries is Ezekiel Elliott going to get in the 4 preseason games? Help me out.
None.
0.
Okay.
He always gets 0. How many carries will Ezekiel Elliott get in camp contact drills? Goal line,
He'll probably get that, and that's where he'll get his work, Skip.
Okay.
That's where he'll get his work.
Okay, maybe a couple here and there, but they will be extremely overcautiously careful with him because the last thing we, as a Cowboy fan, that we need is for him to get banged up. I'm knocking on wood. It's like the most sickening story I ever read the whole year in sports is so-and-so, some star went down in a camp practice before NFL season. Is it not?
It happened to us. Jamal Lewis.
Okay.
After the Super Bowl, tore his ACL.
Okay, tore his ACL in a camp practice. Yeah. It's unfair. It's wrong. Why do you do this to us, injury gods? Because you can't explain it, and you feel like you should be able to avoid that. So if he shows up the Monday Sunday before the opening Sunday, I am totally good with that. Would I like him to be out there with the fellas just for camaraderie's sake? Sure, I would. But do they know Zeke? Yes. Do they love Zeke? You better believe they do. So now let's get back to the Charles Robinson tweet. And I have lots of respect for Charles Robinson. He does an excellent job for Yahoo Sports. But he reports that the extension Elliott is looking for would exceed Todd Gurley's 4-year, $57.5 million deal. Duh. I mean, yeah. I mean, is that shocking news?
No.
I mean, does he want Latavius Murray money? I don't think so, right? Wouldn't he want to? Yes. He thinks he's the best running back in football, and all he would have done if he hadn't gotten suspended for 6 games is lead this league in rushing for 3 straight years, his first 3 years,
Correct.
right?
I agree.
So does he deserve this money?
Yes.
Well, sure, in a vacuum right here, right now, he does. To your point, and you're saying 2 things can be true, so you're saying, hold out, Zeke. But wait a second, Jerry's got a good point because you can't trust him off the field, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he does have some issues going on that continue to manifest themselves and rear their ugly heads in Las Vegas on occasion. So obviously, it's a tricky, dicey situation. But the point here is, to finish Charles Robinson's tweet, that would mean Dallas would eventually have 3 players, including Dak Prescott and Amari Cooper, among the top 3 salaries at their position. And it sounds like doomsday, which used to be the nickname of my defense, but again, it sounds like doomsday for all of Dallas, right? No, it's not. It's the greatest problem any team could have, to have 3 in the top 3 at their positions.
No. They'll be just paid like the top 3. Now, Zeke is a top 3 back, but Amari Cooper and Dak Prescott are not top 3 at their position.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
In concert, they are. In connection, they are. It's like Brady and Edelman. We're going to talk about Julian Edelman later, but you say, Julian Edelman's not a top 10 receiver. Well, in connection with that quarterback, he performs like a top 10 receiver. And in this case, again, do I have to go into Dak Prescott, all that he's done? He has the 2nd most wins this side of Tom Brady over the last 3 years. Okay, but you just said at their position, so is he worthy of that kind of contract? Yes, he is. And by the way, I could make a case, this is really second level, but Zeke could be thinking, I'm going to apply a little pressure to Jerry just so that he goes ahead and has a little more urgency to get Dak done so that I will get done.
No, I rest assured that is not Zeke's thinking. Skip, here's the thing.
They are very close, Dak and Zeke. Trust me.
Yeah, but guess who I'm closer than anybody? My money. And I won't mind. Dak going to get here. Dak, you do you. But Skip, here's the thing. Even though I believe he'll come back the Monday before the opening Sunday, he needs to put some pressure. This is the only thing that's going to get their attention. It's like, okay, but there's a real possibility. I need to make them think that there's a real possibility that I'm willing to miss some games. Even though that might not be the case, I need to make them think that I'm willing to miss some games.
And by the way, speaking of missing games, I was in the middle of the last classic Cowboy holdout, which was featured Emmitt Smith, but I have to note that he was coming off a year in which his team had won the Super Bowl, and they were the new dynasty in the making. You could just see them. It looked like they were going to be favored to win the next 4 or 5 Super Bowls. Probably should have won 4 or 5. You know the rest of that story, but the point is Emmitt Smith had some cachet in that, we just won the Super Bowl, and this team won 1 playoff game last year. So I don't know that the cachet is the same. My experience with holdouts, and this goes way back into the 70s, and me covering this league, is that they're always too detrimental to the player because a lot of times the player suffers too much, except at that position, because I got to give it up to what Emmitt pulled off that year because he just walked back in the door cold after 2 games. They had lost both of them. And he just says, snap my fingers, and I'm back. And he started off slightly slowly, but you know the rest of the story. In only 14 games, he won the regular season MVP, and then he won the Super Bowl MVP, and they won their 2nd straight Super Bowl. Okay, so at this position, it's usually not that detrimental. Like if you're a quarterback and you hold out, you're losing all the reps and all the rhythm. And
because so much is about the other position is about timing.
Okay.
If I toss you the ball and you run to the opening hole.
Okay.
And the same thing that happened to Emmitt offensive line was so good. Skip, you remember that big massive, and everybody talk about, well, this line might be better than the old Cowboys. No, it's not.
It was the greatest offensive line I ever saw.
No, it's not. This offensive line can't hold a candle to the offensive line. But it is a very good line, and I believe Zeke would be able to pick right up where he left off if he were to miss time.
Okay. Now, back to the man who has his fingers on the purse strings of the Dallas Cowboys, one Jerry Jones with his son Stephen Jones. And I'm going to read you a quote from this past combine from Jerry Jones. And I want you to keep this in perspective as you continue to pick away at why is Zeke doing this and that and the other. This is why Jerry Jones is going to get this done and figure it out. However, whatever he's going to do, this is over my head because Jerry Jones has proven to me to be a cap master. He and Stephen did not just fall off the turnip truck from Arkansas when it comes to salary cap manipulations because they know how to finagle. They have created loopholes through which they have jumped before, and I don't doubt that as we speak, they're figuring ways to sign all three of these players and make them top three paid at their positions. But here's a quote from Jerry from the Combine. There is absolutely nothing, short of the health and goodwill of the people I care about, there is nothing that means more to me right now than if I could get another Super Bowl. Nothing. And he goes on to say, this is my 30th Combine, and I don't have 30 more. It kind of surprised me that Jerry was talking about his mortality. Remember, we mentioned this on the show. And he says, so I'm running out of Combines. It's more urgent than ever as I sit here and talk to you than it was 20 years ago. So yes, it is more urgent. He is obsessed right now with his mortality and trying to capitalize on what's on the verge. The Dallas Cowboys are a team on the verge of greatness. It's a loaded football team with a lot of young talent that is about to mature into potential Super Bowl talent. I think they're going to win the NFC this year and get to the Super Bowl. Obviously, and this is highly amusing to me, the Cowboy haters out there, and there are billions led by the man across the table from me. What didn't you do is the question. The Cowboy haters have only one hope this year to derail the Cowboys, and it is contractual controversy. It is impasses and squabbles and stalemates and oh my God.
We didn't create this.
Okay?
But
well, it hasn't been created yet. You're trying to create it.
It's already created.
I mean, it's possible. By the way, it's possible Emmett just kind of wanders in this afternoon and says,
okay,
I'm here. I mean, I'm sorry. Zeke,
But if that's the case, look, if you're thinking about holding out, why would you spend any excess money, even though it's just a plane ticket, probably cost you a couple of $1,000s? You're trying to hoard. You're trying to save everything. No dime is going out because we want to put pressure because we know y'all snooping around looking at bank accounts and all that kind of stuff. Because you know, oh, he run a little short on money. We'll wait him out. If Zeke is done what he was supposed to do, which is, hey, I'm saving everything. I'm not spending anything in excess except the bare minimum living expenses. He going to be good. But Skip, what's working against Zeke also is that he has so many other guys that's in the very same position. You mentioned it. He has Amari. He has that. You don't think Jalen Smith want money? You don't think Byron Jones wants his money?
These are great problems. I love that. Keep going.
But you know what?
You're making me happy.
It is, Skip. But no matter how much money Jerry has, he can't pay everybody. Everybody's not going to give. It looks to me, nobody is looking to give Jerry Jones a discount because they see how much money they're making, and it's like, why would I give who I've struggled, got here, performed, and I'm gonna give a billionaire a discount? I wish I might. I need all my money, everything, Jerry. You just spent $250 million on a yacht. Now, hey, break bread with me.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.